I don't know what the audio's gonna do though. I don't know what it's gonna sound like. This together mode might be the way to go. Oh God, I'm dying. Oh jeez. Our title for Twitch is still Demon Souls.
That's weird. Do you have to just go in manually and switch it?
Yeah, I'm doing it in Restream.
Alright, let's see. I see
Still
we went
Demon
live.
Souls.
Can you hear you?
That's weird.
Yeah.
We're both in there?
Yep.
Yeah. That was YouTube. Let me try Twitch real
Oh,
quick.
jeez. Do you see the stupid table?
I see.
Yeah, Cesar's gonna be proud of us.
Can you hear? That's weird. Yeah, we're both in there. Yep.
I don't have to go live either.
That was YouTube. Let me try Twitch.
Oh, jeez.
No, it's gonna have
Stupid table.
it's gonna have double audio.
I'm so
for a
small
second
and you're
'cause
so giant.
I don't know why it did that. It's so freaking weird.
We gotta make Cesar get in the chat. Oh shit. Look what happens when you leave us. Look what happens to your brand when you leave us.
Shit. I'm knocking shit over.
Oh man. It's this. Okay,
No,
it shrunk you
it's
down. It
resizing
shrunk
me.
you down. So stupid.
Jesus.
Brant, can I please have a cupcake as I hide behind these giant blueberries? These are the world's largest blueberries. Cesar would want to be part of this. Where would it put him? Behind the hat? Over?
I guess.
That's so stupid. Oh my God, what is happening? Oh, trying to get everybody to pull up this show.
And now it's not. Come on, man.
Oh boy, this is so dumb.
What is that?
Should I minimize the table some? No, not me.
We can be under the sea.
No, that's a pretty good one. We're behind there. I guess it's rendering us behind there.
Or we can do. Oh my gosh.
Back to the UNSC.
Trying to.
Alright, that's not bad.
It won't even show up on mine.
No, we're broadcasting with it.
It won't even show up
But you're
on
sitting in the
mine.
seat, right? And I'm sitting low in the seat for some reason. I don't know why I'm so low in the seats every time. Is it my camera angle?
Get out of the beta.
You should see us.
Yeah.
You should see us on Twitch pretty soon.
Oh gosh.
I'm still so low.
I guess it's because your camera is up higher and
All
it's angled down at you.
All right, since we're doing this, yeah, is that better? I'm trying to make it work.
You still look tiny at the moment. Hold on. You look better right
Yeah,
there.
it'll catch up. Oh God, this is dumb. We can start doing this for all of them. As I adjust the camera.
Yeah, that works.
Why is Richard so short? Oh, Boosh, we're working on it. Thanks, Miss Pizza.
Miss Pizza.
Long story.
Oh, that's
The missus is Miss Pizza somehow. I thought I had the chat pulled up. Hold on. Oh man, this got off the rails quick. We didn't have Cesar here to keep us together. Oh jeez.
he neither encourages or discourages this. So
He's just part of the process.
he just goes along for the ride most times.
Oh, I just shifted.
Sometimes he'll get into it though.
All right, Brant.
Because I think he's the first one that did this, put us in this together mode.
Oh yeah,
crap.
we didn't know we could capture it until today. We still may have to end up troubleshooting the. Open the hatch behind you. What are you hiding in there?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Pizzas. There's no hatch back here. What's behind us? We're on a Pelican.
Hey, Master Chief.
Crew transport. Now it's doing it from Restream.
It just moved you again.
Yeah. Did you sign into Restream on your feed?
Yeah.
Did it go live on anything else?
Yeah, both YouTube and
Did it
Twitch.
record on YouTube?
Yeah.
So it's up there. Your playthrough is up there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Both.
That was the goal. That's what we were missing out on. Show you what? The pizzas? All right, Brant.
Pizzas.
Brant, reach up there for the hatch and open it. It's like a bad Connect game. Yeah. Why is your elbow in the hatch? Oh!
Whoa! Whoa!
Brant Hadoken. There, we open the hatch. All right, we've got our viewers. Let's go. You ready to do this thing? Just the two of
Might
us?
as well.
I think it shifted you over.
As we like elbow each other.
It slid me over again.
It keeps messing with you.
I'm staying right here in front of the camera. I'm not moving. Shifting me nonstop. All right, let me get back to Skype. Okay, OBS. This is a nightmare sometimes. Because my chat is overlaid, but I have almost no delay on my OBS, so it's like the chat is overlaid on Skype. Ready? Is this 217?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure it is.
Trusting you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 217 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. Tonight, lots of news. Who did Nintendo acquire? ? Kirby at the buffet. I've used that meme before in GIF. You can be a PlayStation star. Brant, you can be a PlayStation star. I can be a PlayStation star. We can be PlayStation stars.
Everybody gets a PlayStation.
Look under your
Star.
seat. You have a PlayStation star. More Sega Genesis Mini news. We'll cover that soon. Bayonetta 3 gets a release date. Konami to re-release MGS games. Who is Konami and what is MGS? Find out later in the show. Metal Slug games. Metal Game Slugs. And we have your July PlayStation Extra and Premium games. It's weird to say. I'm not quite comfortable with it yet. And late July Game Pass games. I am Richard Bergman, one of your hosts, joined tonight by Newsmaster Brant McKee.
What's up?
And it's just the two of us. Brant, we're flying solo, just like your first ever episode.
Yeah.
In which you were a necessity hire, and then you never left. We couldn't get you. We couldn't get you to go. You got upgraded from listener to. I'm sorry, you got downgraded from listener to show co-host, which is.
And started doing the news, and then I started paying dues.
It's been all downhill from that first. What was it? 213 we figured out. No, 113 or 130 or something like that. You're getting close. You're getting close to.
Yeah.
More episodes you've been on than you were not on. This is 217. We are without Cesar this week. He is suffering from an ailment in which his participation on an audio-video podcast would be hindered significantly by his ailment. So we wish him well. Cesar, we hope you are back next week. We were on vacation last week, so hope you enjoyed the week off from NOFODcast. We weren't talking games in your ear. I know I enjoyed the break, so it's kind of nice not having something to edit and post, but I did miss talking games with my friends, so. Whoa, we'll dive back into it this week. Who did Nintendo acquire? Who the hell is this, Brant?
Ooh, indeed.
Did they get Konami and those
No.
MSG games? MSG fills you up, remember? It's a additive that,
Ooh.
it's an additive that swells your stomach up. Of course, this is not MSG. This is Dynamo Pictures, the other alternative food additive. Nintendo to acquire, this comes from Nintendo Life. Nintendo to acquire Dynamo Pictures will rename it Nintendo Pictures. Fitting. They are previously known for their work on the Pikmin short movies, which I think will be disappearing from 3DS before too long.
Yeah.
Nintendo has entered an agreement to fully acquire the visual production company Dynamo Pictures Inc., known previously for its work on the Pikmin short movies. I love when the whole meat of the article is in the title. we reiterate the news.
Yeah. I think they also worked on like Metroid Other M, and they've done some other things here and
Metroid
there.
Other M catches some shit, but I believe those cutscenes were top quality. I don't think that was any sort of...
Yeah, the cutscenes
that was
looked
no
good.
sort of slight on the game for the cutscenes were bang up. What does this mean going forward? Well, it's unclear at this stage. Nintendo states the production company will focus on producing visual content for Nintendo IP, which is obvious. But what exactly this will entail is anyone's guess. Could it be more short movies, full-length movies? We'll have to wait and see. The long-term implications are interesting. I would love to see more of these Pikmin shorts and things like that. They have tons of universes, Nintendo does, where they can use this studio to produce this type of content. Or I'm thinking about like before Spirits Within, when Squaresoft became like an FMV powerhouse, right? Like this was a major movie production, and my brother and I, when we played a Final Fantasy game, we would have the VCR on standby, like we're going to need to record this in case there's something we want to play back later, because there was no other way to watch it again. You couldn't just go on YouTube and watch.
Yeah, there was no was no YouTubes back in the day.
So when who caught the other end of Sephiroth's sword in we were able to play that back. Like, I can't believe this just happened. And I had beat it before, so I was watching him play, and I knew when specific times would come up, and we would record a bunch of those really cool FMVs from Final Fantasy VII was one of them. Metal Gear Solid was one of them, even though that was more like in-game cutscenes.
Yeah.
This would be cool for like a Kid Icarus game to tell some of that storytelling in between. I feel like we're going to get a port of that Kid Icarus Uprising at some point. It just feels more inevitable than anything.
Yeah.
For it to be stuck on that god-awful 3DS hand cramp. Did you ever play that one? Do you have that one?
Yes, I do. It was one of my first games with the system, and I remember I wound up selling it and then re-getting it because it was so awkward to play. And it's visually it looks really good, and it's a stunning display of the visuals and capabilities of that 3DS hardware. But it's really just awkward.
It is
to play.
At the time this came out, my dog had chewed a water supply line to the toilet and flooded our house.
Oh, gosh.
So I specifically remember the missus and I sleeping on an air mattress. We might have drug our actual mattress into a room that was not affected. And I had Kid Icarus 3D, or Kid Icarus Uprising, and Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D. And I had both of those. And I believe I had the circle pad at that point for Snake Eater. And I had both of those games to like tide me over, since nothing was hooked up and nothing was, I didn't have any game systems up in the living room and stuff like that. Like, there was open subflooring and floorboards in part of the house where it was just, man, he got his money's worth. I walked in the house and I was like, did somebody leave the shower on? And that thing is just full bore, just going and filling up the whole back end of our house. It's amazing how much water a house can take on and not soak up, valuables and collectible items and things like that. So we did okay as far as that goes. Is there any game you would want to see some shorts applied to? I think Pikmin is, of course, the natural evolution there, but
yeah. I mean, obviously, if they're going to utilize this company, they'll probably have more animated shorts or have them working on the cutscenes for just about everything. Fire Emblem, Mario, Legend of Zelda.
You're
You
right.
name it.
It doesn't
They'll
have to be a
probably-
specific franchise. Just use that artwork and their experience on any of those franchises.
They can utilize them for, in-game cuts or cutscenes for games or things for game trailers or anything they want, really.
It didn't stick out to me that they would be using them for movie quality things because of it seems like there's a very tight-knit relationship between Nintendo and, is it Illumination Studio or Illumination? The ones that did Minions, and they're going to be doing
are working on the Mario
doing the
movie?
Chris Pratt. You mean Chris Pratt movie, Brant? Live correction, not that Mario movie. Unless it's Captain Lou or... Oh god, who played Mario? I'm drawing a blank. Bob Hoskins? The late great Bob Hoskins and the late great Lou Albano? There's no surviving. We have Charles Martinet and Chris Pratt are the surviving Mario actors. I'll take surviving Mario actors for 400. This actor was on WWE and starred in the Super Mario Brothers Super Show. No longer a surviving Mario Brothers actor. So look forward to Dynamo Pictures becoming Nintendo Pictures. Next up, this was kind of a surprise announcement. I don't know a whole lot of details. Oh, it says at retail is a download code. So did you watch this? Watch this.
Download only.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it seemed to me like all right. Let's back up. This comes from Gamatsu. Kirby's Dream Buffet announced for Switch. Multiplayer action game due out this summer. Nintendo has announced Kirby's Dream Buffet for Switch. It will launch via Nintendo eShop, My Nintendo Store, and at retail as a download code this summer. This is essentially Fall Guys in a Kirby format.
Very much what it looks like with a Kirby spin on it.
So it makes sense that it would be a live service game and it would be download only, that sort of thing. I know Cesar, when it was announced, Cesar was bemoaning the lack of a physical copy, but it's almost like our copies of PUBG or Halo Infinite or one of those type games, or Sea of Thieves. I have a retail disc of Sea of Thieves.
Hey, I've got a copy of Halo Infinite. It's pretty much just a coaster.
I feel like we warned you, but we found out after you had ordered, so that was one of those grin and bear it type deals. So that does make sense at least, but I thought it might be free to play. Have they not clarified that? It's definitely a purchased title. It says downloadable code at retail.
I was about to say, they haven't said if there's going to be a downloadable code at retailers, it's probably going to be a $19 or $25 game, something like that. I would imagine.
All right,
they did release a trailer where you can see Kirby get shrunk down, and then he's on like this giant. Everything's like giant food themed, and he just rolls around
as Kirby does.
Rolls around collecting strawberries. Basically, you're trying to outpace your competitors and out-eat your competitors. And at the end, they all get dropped on a scale, and it weighs to see, I guess, who's the biggest curve, who's the chunkiest, who
consumed
curve.
the most Dreamland cuisine. Brent, what is your favorite Dreamland cuisine? What is the thing you'd go after faster?
Dreamland cuisine. I don't know. They have a lot of puddings and flans in there that kind of look good. So
I just got way larger than you, so I win the first round of.
Whoa. The camera.
We were complaining in pre-production I was too small. Now I'm gigante. Kirby games, you always get a cake in Kirby games, so that's a good. I would also eat a tasty, juicy Maxim tomato, which gives you full health. I think there was a level in the NES game called Butter Bridge, so maybe you could eat your weight in Butter Bridge.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
You wouldn't eat your weight in Butter Bridge, like straight across Kirby style?
Butter? Oh.
My kids can your kids eat butter straight? Your child, can they eat just butter like it?
I've never known anybody to do that until one of my older sisters gave her child like a tiny little pat of butter. I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you feeding the child butter?
Eat that. There's nothing else on the table. We're waiting for our food. It sounds like one of those things, like the Captain's wafers. You destroy the whole little courtesy packet of Captain's wafers, waiting for your food to come.
There's a and this is, I'm sorry, it deviates from the top of the.
We're talking about Butter Bridge,
games, but there's a older comedy sketch. I don't know if you've ever seen Whitest Kids You Know.
I have not.
So there's one where it takes place in a fast food thing, and they're doing a promotion where they're selling butter bars.
Like
and
fried
this little
butter bars?
kid comes up, and it's just a butter bar, and it's literally just a stick of butter, and there's nothing special about it. It comes in the same butter wrapper and everything.
Is it salted or
This little
unsalted?
kid, I don't know. But this little kid comes up because they start talking about like who's gonna eat this? Who wants a stick of butter? Who's gonna eat this? And this tiny little 8-year-old kid comes up and goes, "I want a butter bar, please," and puts some money on the thing. They're okay, here you go. And he starts eating it in front of them, and they get this disgusted look on their face. They're like, is it good? He's like, it's okay. And then all of a sudden they go back to talking, and they're like, this is weird. I feel weird about this. And all of a sudden the kid putting more money on the counter. Can I get another butter bar?
He consumed the first one. Oh jeez.
They try to stop him. They're like, "Oh, sorry, kid. You're short. We can't. You don't have enough money." He starts dumping out his bag, and then throws more money on the counter. And they have to give him another one. He starts eating it. He goes, "Oh." He starts grabbing his chest. He's, "Oh, my little heart." I'll have to.
The butter bar's clogging up his heart. The missus will, strangely enough, this may be country enough for you to have heard of as well, Brant, growing up in the South like I have. She puts butter on Pop-Tarts. Have you heard of that? It's like death on top of death.
No. I'll say the one thing I have done like that was we ate at friend of the show Russell's favorite place.
Oh
Waffle
yes,
House.
God bless Waffle House.
Had a delicious meal, and then the waitress
Brought you a dessert of butter.
came up and said, "Do you want any pie?" At this point I was like, "No, I think we're good." She goes, "Are you sure? We've got this pie and pecan." I'm like, "Okay, you got
Brant,
pecan."
you're so Brant, you're
All
so
right,
easy.
sure.
They got you at the pecan pie.
And I'm like, "We can split it between the three of us. We're good." So she goes, "Okay, a pecan pie. Would you like me to throw it on the grill and throw a pat of butter on it?" I'm like,
Yes,
okay.
please.
Sure. It was so damn
my
delicious.
God.
Like, that's the most Southern
Ooh.
American thing. Like, yeah, give me a dessert that is nothing but sugar,
Woo.
some pecans, and then butter. Throw some butter on it.
For our
Why not?
listeners who are outside of the Waffle House territory, it's the greatest. It's the greatest place on earth. You can get anything you want, including pecan pie with butter slathered all over it.
Oh,
How the hell did we get there off of Kirby?
you said there's a
Butter Bridge. Yeah,
Bridge,
that's the one with
yeah.
the crazy scaling and all that on the 8-bit level. Okay, Kirby's Dream Buffet, and we ended up with a Waffle House story. Introducing, this comes from the PlayStation blog, introducing PlayStation Stars, an all-new loyalty program. This is from Grace Chin at the PlayStation blog. Oh, geez, do we have a good summary? Because this is a long blog post.
Yeah, I can go through it. So PlayStation's doing a new loyalty program. Of course, calling it PlayStation Stars.
They could have called it PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, but they chose not to.
Oh, don't you tease me. So I remember them doing loyalty programs. I want to say it was like early, not too long after PlayStation 4, where you got rewarded based on the number of platinum trophies you
I do
had.
remember. They give you like $10 PlayStation credit
Yeah,
per
it was
platinum
something
trophy, yeah, and then people started destroying it.
and-
On a side
Yeah.
note, I know Cesar could touch on this too, but they used to have an amazing retail partner program where you could sign into it was a PlayStation loyalty type thing, and if you took quizzes on certain games, like ones they wanted to sell. So for me, it was like God of War 1 and 2 and Loco Roco and Ape Escape, because I was around for the launch of the PSP and that kind of stuff. If you took these quizzes, they would ship you the game, or you could earn points, and then you would get, yeah. And I think Cesar took way more advantage of it than I did, but I still got some decent titles out of. Like, I think I got Jack 2, the Greatest Hits one, and there were some games that they would just send you just by taking these quizzes, and it was, if you knew anything about games like we did, to the level that we did, and absorbed into it, it was basic stuff, like, what type of game is Wipeout? And that's what they would want you to know to sell to your customers. I need to sign back into that and see if my thing still works, because it was a retail distributor loyalty program thing, and there were some pretty cool perks with that. And I was almost out of the game by then, but there were some good PlayStation 3 bonuses that started rolling out at that point, where you could get first party stuff like NBA Live what would that have been, 06 or 07, Genji. Some of those early Resistance, I think, ended up being one of them, but that was kind of their flagship for that launch period. So, but it had some really cool perks to it. You had to promise not to trade it in and all this kind of extra stuff. But what is PlayStation Stars, now that I've waxed poetic about retail, Christmases of retail past?
Well, starting off, of course, it will be free to join. Launches later this year. Once you become a member, you can earn rewards by completing a variety of campaigns or activities. Monthly check-in campaigns will simply require you to play any game to receive a reward. Other campaigns may request you to win tournaments, earn specific trophies, or even be the first player to platinum a blockbuster title in your local time zone.
Who out of review press is not gonna? It's gonna
I was about to say that's gonna have to start like midnight of actual release, because anybody who reviews games for any notable outlets or otherwise, they get them weeks in advance, or at least a week.
It's kind of entertaining. I've been reading some old video game magazines that are like 2006, 2007-ish. And part of the printed multiplayer review for a print magazine will say something along the lines of, well, we got this game super early and there was nobody else online except for 2 or 3 other press review people, so we can't really speak to the, mag or something like that for PS3. We can't speak to the 256 versus 256 capability of this game because there were 9 of us that had the game 2 weeks before release, so... We'll see how that works. I'm sure they've whitelisted those specific accounts that get these type of early access review copies. Are review copies a thing? Did they still do that?
I believe so. I mean, they send them still to outlets that review things.
It's download codes now. It's not. Brant, here's 80% of Twisted Metal Black. I want you to check this one out before it goes to retail in 2 months.
Yeah. And then you see, a lot of YouTubers and things that have partnerships with certain people or developers, things like that. They'll get sent review codes.
That's the new EGM or GamePro or whoever.
Yeah. In addition to, and this is where people started asking some questions, they will have
NFTs.
Digital collectibles.
Wait, what?
Digital collectibles. They say they are not NFTs. They had to come back and say that.
Brent, what have I been buying? My Bored Apes. My Bored Ape Yacht Club collection. Are you telling me those aren't digital collectibles?
No, no.
They did have to clarify.
When I hear this, because they said they are digital representations of things that PlayStation fans enjoy, including figurines and beloved iconic characters from games and other forms of entertainment.
And PlayStation Network outages represented in digital form.
Yeah. What this made me think of is how in Astrobot you collect those capsules. and then after you collect those capsules and leave that level, you are given this digital representation of the PS1, the
Please,
PS2,
yes.
PS3,
Please let me do that with stuff.
the PSP, all these different peripherals, and you can look at them, and there's this beautiful detailed 3D model, and you can play with the little hinge that shows you the USB port.
You can punch the eject button.
The
Yeah,
open
yeah,
button.
yeah.
Yeah, on the PS1, and it pops up, and it's just right in front of you. But if you really look at it and those pieces of hardware or those things, you're like, wow, that's
appreciate the detail that they put into it.
So what I'm thinking they'll lean into. I want
that to be the idea. Like, I think that is the dream. That's what we would, especially this podcast. That's what the three of us would like to enjoy. It seems like it could be exploited at some point. I would hope that it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Buy the map pack to get this unlockable, or pre-order now to get not Sly Cooper, but whatever. Yeah, you get a mystery raccoonus in your digital museum. Not a thievius raccoonus.
The robbing rodent.
Yeah. Robbing rodent.
Robbing rodent.
You get your mysterious marsupial. It's not quite. It's a bootleg Sly Cooper. You've unlocked the statue of Fly Slooper. He's not quite what you remember. And his good friend Gently. Oh man.
Gently and Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy instead of Murray.
Murphy.
Oh
yeah.
Lord. Give us another Sly Cooper. We'd all buy it. You have 3 sales right here on this show. We bought the last Sly Coopers when they came out. We supported. I remember Cesar hyping me up on that one. And it was a good game. Thieves in Time was good. I ended up buying a copy on each.
I see people shitting on it. So, I mean, I still haven't played that version yet, but I've heard from other people that it's really good, but I see stuff online that it was like, it was not a good addition to the Sly Cooper
It
franchise,
had the Thieves in Time added like a hub or a different like time scale. It wasn't as fluid, but I also believe that as time went on, the Jack games and the Ratchet games just ended up getting more either publicity or public acknowledgement or some sort of mind space, of fandom, I guess, is what it comes down to. And Sly Cooper became the 3rd place one, which it doesn't deserve. It deserves to be equal footing amongst those other 2, in my opinion. But like, we're still getting Ratchet and Clank games, and Jack and Daxter's held in this high regard. We got PSP iterations. There was a PS3 collection, just like the Sly games. There was a PS4 collection, which we did not get for the Sly games. And in fairness, we didn't get with the Ratchet games, but we were still getting Ratchet games on PS4 at that point. So, I don't know. We talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago that they kind of Sucker Punch nipped the Sly Cooper development rumors in the bud, which sucks.
Yeah, it's like, that's a personal blow.
You took it personally?
You had both. Yeah, you had both.
Infamous as well.
And Sly Cooper. 2 great franchises that they really haven't touched. I mean, Sly Cooper they haven't touched since PS3.
And again, we all think they're going to end up bringing some of the Sly games to the PlayStation Plus extra tiers. We hope. That's got to be its next unveiling. Okay, is that it for PlayStation Stars? Free to join, loyalty program, and not NFTs will come to you. What's up next, Brant? Please tell me about this Sega Genesis Mini 2, which I may or may not have pre-ordered.
I may have pre-ordered it as
There we
well.
go.
So it was announced last week, while we were off, that we are officially, while rather oddly fulfilled, getting the Sega Genesis Mini
In the United States.
because before it was only going to be released in Japan.
And so I can order from Amazon US and get my free Prime shipping at an affordable price of $103.98 with free Prime shipping, right?
Yeah. Yes. What's weird is people in the US could already, if you had a Amazon Japan account, you could order from Amazon Japan and it would ship to
Which
the
may
US.
come faster, albeit slightly more
But-
expensive than...
But then this, it's seemingly also being filled by Amazon Japan. It is an Amazon exclusive, so don't expect to see it in your local games retailer, unless somebody trades one in at a mom and pop store.
Which I doubt will happen. So this went up first. Cesar showed it to me,
but
and we didn't think it was legit because it ships from Amazon Japan. It is $103.98 plus $21.99 shipping. And it was a U.S. box art and everything. Like, it looked bang up. The screenshots were U.S. Language and font and everything else. It was like, this is a very good fake. And then about 6 hours later, they officially announced it. So that is the official way to get the Genesis Mini 2. Is through your Amazon account via Amazon Japan, and you pay shipping, which Prime members are not used to doing for quite some time. But it still ended up being, what is that, $130 total? $128 something? Yeah. What do we get with that 128-ish outside of the previously mentioned titles? Oh, this is all the titles announced so far.
I was about to say, they announced all of these titles that are on the US version.
Sorry, man. I just saw Vector Man 2. Keep going.
I would assume that we would also, hopefully, we would get some of the titles that are also coming to the Japanese version, because they're, especially recently, I didn't put it in news I knew we had a lot of news. I wanted to try and keep it brief. But they just released more titles for the Japanese one, which included the Lunar games on there. So it would be nice to get those
Popful
in
Mails
this
on
format
there
as well. But we are getting CD-wise Sonic CD, Shining Force CD, Sylphid,
Mansion of the Hidden Souls,
Mansions of the Hidden Soul, and Night Strikers, the Ninja Warriors, and then we go to the non-CD
Let's
based
alternate these
titles. Afterburner 2.
Oh, you said Ninja Warriors. Outrun.
Outrun.
Virtual Racing.
Super
Sonic
Hang-On.
3D Blast.
Shining in the Darkness.
The aforementioned Vector Man 2.
The Ooze.
Bonanza Brothers.
Alien Soldier.
Rainbow Islands Extra.
Splatterhouse 2.
Rolling Thunder Dose.
Lightning Force.
Fantasy Zone with an F.
And Star Mobile.
You sure it's not Star Mobile?
I believe, this is also coming with the actual 6-button controllers that we should have gotten with the original Sega Mini that came out in the US, which was the only version to come with the 3-button controller.
They didn't elaborate on this, but they said the hardware was improved over the original Sega Genesis Mini. So it's some sort of upgraded ARM processor, hopefully.
Yeah.
Which that first one was... It was M2 emulation on the device, right? And those games are incredible. That Genesis Mini is quite the collection.
Just after this actually gets on the market, I would love when somebody opens it up and then we can just... I know a lot of people like to mod them completely out and put everything on there. But I would probably just keep this a dedicated Sega machine.
Yeah. On that note, have you modded any of your mini consoles? Have you changed any of their stock?
Yes.
Okay. Which ones?
The Nintendo ones, both the Nintendo ones. I only added a few games.
Would
each.
you add on the Super Nintendo one?
It has been so long, I don't even remember.
So I knew someone that, and I could do this. Again, the barrier is like time. I could do this and figure it out, but it's time with applying it and all that kind of stuff. A friend of the show, Shane, put like Chrono Trigger and all the missing ones that need to be on there. He put those on there, and he had a good image for it, and it looked like it was already it came on the console and everything. So that's always been my hesitation, but I'm leaning. I would say by the end of this year, I'm gonna try to get a Mister. So I may leave a bunch of those stock and just leave them as is, and have the Mister for that type stuff, just to have a one-stop shop for a bunch of those classic consoles. But they're all great. I'm so glad that I think it was last summer you got your hands on the TurboGrafx one. That is such a good collection. I mean, it's great to have a box that plays Zelda and Zelda 2 and Mario Brothers 3 and Star Tropics. But for the TurboGrafx brought us stuff that we do not have readily available anywhere. And that was a great, great, great get. So I'm glad you were able to get your hands on one.
I was going to say, this one was pretty disappointing.
We talked
the
about this.
PlayStation Mini.
Did you hack that one? Did you get any of those crack packs or anything? Any of those things that came out?
I thought about it, and even recently I've thought about it and saw all the different things you can do. But honestly, when I have this PS TV
right
here
with alternate storefronts,
I mean, with everything and anything I could want on it, I don't necessarily need another way to play things. So.
I think, and as bad as that emulation was on that PlayStation Classic, with notably a bunch of PAL versions and I think the only game I didn't have off that whole box was Intelligent Cube. I didn't have a hard copy of Intelligent Cube. It was like the one glaring omission that was not already in my collection. And again, these are not for us, me, you, Cesar, the type games we hoard and have access to, but they were bad representations of a bunch of those games. Like Tekken 2, I think, played at the 50 hertz, and there were some rough offenders on there. So M2 is doing this. It launches October 27th. And Amazon Japan will probably have it to us by maybe at the latest October 28th. They are noted fast shippers at Amazon Japan. It'll be here pretty quick. Brant, tell me about that. Oh god, I got this story up twice. I gotta backtrack. Is it Bayonetta?
Yes.
Yes, tell me about that Bayonetta trace.
So last week they dropped a Bayonetta 3 trailer on us.
Did they?
Looks pretty good. Visually, it still kind of has that like PlayStation 3 360 aesthetic to it,
right?
To me, but it still looks like it's going to be an awesome game. And then right at the end of the trailer, they dropped a October 28th release date on us.
Which is that earlier than you expected? Later than you expected? We haven't seen anything about this game in, it feels like, 2 years.
They recently showed it at one of the larger Nintendo Directs, but it's been pretty silent on the game for months. So I think most people speculated that it would be out toward the end of the year. Right. But October is couple months away.
As these fall Nintendo dates start to file in. It still says we're playing Demon Souls on Twitch for some reason. I don't know why. I changed this. Whatever.
Did you in the bottom in the categories. Did you change it to just chatting, or
Yeah.
is it still say okay?
Yeah.
Weird.
It says Demon Souls. All right, we're the #1 Demon Souls podcast. Add that to our content type. Add that to our resume, our repertoire.
So, in this installment of the Bayonetta series, the unstoppable Umbra Witch joins forces with some familiar faces and a mysterious Viola, and a multitude of other Bayonettas to stop human-made homunculi who are wreaking havoc.
Homunculi. Damn those homunculi.
Later, after this trailer, I think it was Kamiya posted on Twitter about the naive angel mode, I think it was called. Which, did you see that?
Is this the watch it in your living room and it's no awkward moments for your family?
Yeah, no awkward moments, where it's basically a slider to where, I mean, it's not like you see anything in the game anyway. She's
lots of skin.
It's lots of skin, pretty much, but no actual nudity. But this covers your characters more during those crazy attacks,
right?
Where she would show more skin. So
a little bit of a screen of sorts.
Yeah.
Which is good.
But
it's good to have options. You can turn this on or off. It is not a full... We're in the age of, oh God, they censored our game. This is a slider of sorts where you can decide whether that's appropriate for you or not. And we're pretty... I'm going to touch on my household. We're pretty open... Oh, as I enlarging. Speaking of Bayonetta. We're pretty...
You've been biggened.
Yeah, been biggened. We're a pretty open household, so it's not like this will be some sort of shocking... Oh my God, I can't believe that's represented on this digital media. I was not aware of these type things. But I think back to my retail days when I'm trying to sell a magazine subscription to a gentleman, and I handed him the magazine. You know, it's the discount. It's the 10% discount on all your purchases, and you get the magazine for a year and that kind of stuff. And he literally opened the magazine and flipped maybe 3 times total, and he found an offensive image for his family, and he just turned around and showed it to me. He's like, I can't have this in the household. It's not coming in my household. So I always think back, you know, if there was a way for him to get, because that's a small, it was much worse then. That's like 2004, 2005. It was a much worse, that's when you had booth babes and you had... Your reviews are like, man, these chicks are hot, and it's also a decent volleyball game. It was
jiggle physics, yeah.
Yeah, jiggle physics. This is the era of jiggle physics. This is a different... I'm not excusing that time, but I would say we know better now. So I always think of that guy like, is this game that so many people would enjoy, is his family not going to be able to enjoy this game because of this principle that's not allowed in his house? And for something to be just enabled or disabled, and I know it's not a switch that somebody just turns on and off. It's a development choice and a concept. That's why they highlighted it in this stream. But I think it's so important that these type things continue being a part of what's included in games so that more games are played by more households. Just because it doesn't affect mine or yours doesn't mean that it won't affect so many more. And I know they're going to market this game. There's going to be commercials, and you don't want someone to, because I had to ruin many the dream of a 7 or 8 year old that came in my store and their kid was just going to their adult was just going to let them get Vice City. And it's like, no, I have to tell you what's in this game. It's my job, first off, but second off, you know, that you need to know what the concept is in, you know, the things that they're going to encounter, because they look at a rating on a box and they decide like, okay, I've seen the commercials, I'm fine. But there's more to it. So I do like, you know, you basically turn this game from an M game to a T game, unless the violence and all that kind of stuff kind of carries it over. But it's more fantasy violence and shooting and things like that, right? A Bayonetta title. Yeah. So you effectively introduce a whole new group of ESRB customers that would normally have had access to that title. And I wish
because
I wish they would tier it
I'm
like that. Go ahead, Brent.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're probably like me, because it wasn't. Oh, this game is rated teen. My 8, 9, 10-year-old son can't play it because it's rated teen.
Right.
He has to be a teen. It's rated teen because of fantasy violence and blood.
And I
know what's in it, and it's not even that bad. Here, enjoy it, play it, have fun. I'll play it with you.
I will set you up on this, and I will turn off the thing that is making it the higher level of ESRB rating or whatever it is. That there's a slider in there where you can turn that off. Instead of like Nintendo famously on Mortal Kombat making the blood sweat and making the inferior, they take it upon themselves as actually
one of them they made it green.
Yeah, it's like a ooze or something.
Yeah.
Famously, the Nintendo 64 title Perfect Dark was removed from my collection for being rated M for mature. Please tell me what in Perfect Dark warrants an M, and it's like, shooting violence or whatever it is on the back of the thing, and blood. I think there was blood in it, but it's funny. The end credits, they call the end credits visual orgasms because there's all sorts of like lights going through. And, yeah. You remember that when you beat Perfect Dark? But it was like somebody credited the ending credits visual orgasms to someone. I remember seeing that. Like, okay, sure, yeah, that's you definitely pulled your weight on that team by making this end credits visual orgasms.
But yeah, unless it is like, unless it was rated M for like explicit, sexual themes or something like that, or extremely harsh or strong language or things like that, it was never a taboo. It's like, oh, it's rated mature for, drug and alcohol, fantasy violence, and some language. I've played this game. It's not that bad,
And that is for the ESRB is not. I'm not going to say it's locked in stone. It's a guide for the parents to look at, and as you being a parent as well, you can look at that kind of stuff. I'm fine with my kids seeing just about everything outside of the Grand Theft Auto series. There's content and there are words, specifically a word in the Grand Theft Auto games that they will not hear in this household and they will not hear in this game because they do not understand the context of the use of that verbiage at this time. And that is what the ESRB, I think, was intended to start off. Policing is the wrong term, but advising for parents as far as the type things that their kids are exposed to. So it's not the be all end all, but I also think about the guy who I was trying to sell the magazine subscription to, and he flipped a couple pages and was like, it might have been like a DOA Ultimate or something like that. It might have been that era, and he's like, this can't come in my household. I understand the benefits. I understand what you're trying to pitch for me for these used games and trade-ins and all that kind of thing. I'm not having this mailed to my house once a month. It's not coming in my household. So I was like, I get that 100%.
And that's it. Yeah, that's everybody's prerogative. So,
and that is not for me to understand or try to rationalize or anything. That's what you have decided for you and yours. And I let it go at that. I was like, I'm supposed to be pitching all this stuff and I'm supposed to peddle these things, and you have, outside of anyone, given me the most legitimate reason, and that is 100% that. So I'm glad that this is a feature in Bayonetta 3. And I hope that there's more. Maybe ESRB will start being a more scalable. It was either Xbox or 360, or it might have been PS2 and PS3 online, where we started to get ESRB cannot rate online modes. They can't warranty that or warrant an E rating for a game that you go online and play, and you get called a name that's not that does not fall within the E. You know what I mean? So
because anybody the things you can encounter in online interactions are unrateable because you never know how certain people are.
I would like to see, even though we stay in on the industry and how things are coming out and what they consist of and things like that, I would still like, as a parent, if they did scale, if Bayonetta 3 said, T to M. If you turn on, adjustable slider, affects content rating. I would love something like that. That would be a really good scalable thing. And then I guess, how would you enforce that at retail though? Because we started having to check people's IDs for 18 plus. Like, what do you're 10. You better play on the T setting.
Gosh, I remember when they started enforcing that.
Yeah.
Because there was a couple games where tail end of high school, I'm having to pull out my ID, buying Uncharted and whatever Call of Duty and other things, just like I want this game. Can we see your ID?
Yep.
What? I'm not trying to buy beer.
I was
I want a game.
I was out of the game by the time Uncharted came out, just barely, but they came down on us super, super hard around the time of Hot Coffee and the adults only. Like, I remember in our backstock, we had shelves of new games right there behind the backstock. I pulled all the PS2 copies of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and literally they sent us stickers, which I'd never seen before. And I put AO stickers on them, and they would ring up $1,000 if you tried to scan them. So they went straight in the back so that nobody was going to buy one of these $1,000 SKUs. And then right after that, they were on us. They would send secret shoppers and all that kind of thing to make sure that, and you would have parents that got offended, like, what do you mean I got to show an ID? It's a video game. It's kids stuff. And I'm like, it's my job. You see there's a camera there. There's a camera there. They are going to review this and see if I checked, and I just got to look and see a number. I really don't care how old you are. I'm 19 and I'm making $8.40 an hour. I don't want to get fired, so just please show me. So I remember that when that became a thing. So maybe that will be something in the future, scalable ESRB or questionable. I think there were some. I think like Elmo's alphabet for N64 was like that had a range that was like E to E10 or something. It would give you sort of
E to E10.
It would give you an educational range of between two, but with a scalable effect, maybe it's the M is still on there, like no one can buy this without it, but hey, there's a potential to make this a T game or an E game based off of the sliders inside there. I really like those options, especially as my kids are they don't play a lot by themselves except for what I curate, but as they start to discover things on their own and want to play more things on their own outside of my library, it would be nice to also have that reinforcement in the background. What else? Is that it on the Bayonetta news? Or is that later? Is that later on?
Bayonetta.
I have that story pulled up twice for some reason. Do you talk about the copy of Bayonetta 1 that's coming out?
Oh, no, I actually did not mention that. We got off on a tangent. But yes, there's a supposed limited quantity release of the original Bayonetta 1 physical.
Yes. At last.
Because they had Bayonetta 2 with a digital code of the original Bayonetta available for years now. Right. Yeah, they're actually doing a physical run. They say it's going to be a limited release, but they also said that Mario
3D All-Stars
Star was a limited, and that was everywhere.
Still available 2 years later.
Time. Yeah, you can still find it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the Bayonetta, the first one, pre-orders have been up on Best Buy and GameStop now for like 2 or 3 days, so they're out there if you want to get it, and it's $29.99. It's $30.
Yeah, it's not very
not bad
expensive.
at all. Next up, this should be a quick story.
Just real.
From VideoGameChronicle.com on Metal Gear's 35th anniversary, Konami says, a good year, 35. Konami says it's preparing to bring back delisted games. License expiration forced Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 to be pulled. We talked about this story earlier this year.
Yeah, earlier this year it was updated because the titles that just got pulled from the PlayStation Now before it changed to the new PlayStation tiers, because it was like the Phantom Pain and Metal Gear Solid 4 and there was something else that was also on there, but all of them just they got it just evaporated from the service right before it changed, and once the service changed over, they haven't come back.
Konami said on Wednesday on Twitter the games would soon return. The Metal Gear series, launched on 13th of July 1987, celebrates its 35th anniversary today. The tweet reads, "We are preparing to resume the sale of titles that had been temporarily suspended." I just want to note that for once I am older than one of these titles, not Super Mario Brothers or Legend of Zelda. It is nice to actually be within the release dates of some of these vaunted titles. I know some of our listeners are much younger than some of these classics, but like for Cesar and I, we're sometimes predating those NES classics, and this one is that first Metal Gear game's a little rough around the edges. You could tell what Kojima and company were going for, but it does feel good to be at least older than one of these and not, Super Mario Brothers game, this game that I love and enjoy, came out 4 years before I was born, and it was still relevant then. It's just some weird timetables in there.
Yeah.
But I am officially older than the Metal Gear series, not Metal Gear Solid. I always want to say follow. It's like it's just a flow, right? Metal Gear Solid, Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
Super Mario 64, Metal Gear Solid.
As you eat the Super Mario mushroom and grow.
Growing and shrinking. They note, Video Game Chronicle notes that Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, which had to be removed November 2021, because according to Konami, some of the real-life archive footage used in them had been licensed, and those licenses were now expired. I hate this type of shit. It's so dumb. It's like the music and racing games, or the... God, I hate it.
And for that's even worse, because I hadn't thought about it. But yeah, there's like historical footage and everything, but historical footage, I guess it technically...
Who's coming after them for that license? Who's coming after them still? Who?
It's one of those weird things where anybody that takes the video or anybody that takes the picture is the technical owner, and you've got to re-up those rights. Because there was some story that I heard about somebody was on a trip, and they had a camera or had their cell phone, and there was a monkey that came and stole the picture and took the picture, and somehow or another they wound up
suing the monkey.
It wound up in court, and they technically have to give the photo credit to the monkey because the monkey is the one that took the photo. It's fucking weird.
Holy crap.
Photo credits and videography credits are it's a weird animal.
I'm so sorry.
No pun intended.
Family, I've worn this medal. I've been shamed. I didn't take this photo. I've gotten all this credit. A monkey stole my camera and took the photo for National Geographic that won all the awards. It was not me. It was a Homo erectus. It was a predecessor. Oh God, that shit kills me. It's like I feel like it's a lawyer that's just bored poring over some sort of old copyright laws. Like, what do we need to protect ourselves from? This could bite us in the ass. Let's pull all the games from the store so we don't get sued. And then everybody loses because of some archival footage that Kojima put in about nuclear war. And
it's weird. It's like, do you think that actual like historical museums have to go through and re-up copyrights of historical footage?
Right.
Because I mean, all the time, if you go to any of those museums, we recently went to one close-ish down to here. It's like the National Infantry Museum.
Oh, very cool.
And of course, it actually was
very cool.
But it always is like, this day back in blah 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 blah, the troops march their way onward, and it's all that historical footage and everything that's being played and stuff you've seen before, or pictures you've seen.
Almost like it's open source or free use or something.
And it's like and that's basically the same thing that's in those Kojima games. Is it's random little snippets of those same videos.
Or I think about Wisdom Tree, the infamous unlicensed NES games like Bible Adventures and Super Noah's Ark and stuff like that. Like Nintendo went after everybody but these people because it was this Christian based. They didn't want to be the people that went after like the Jesus games, right? So why would you want to be the company who filed against Konami for the anti-nuclear war footage? Like, why would you want to be that sort of?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it does have something to do with the monetization of it because they are making some kind of money off of it.
How is that not royalties or something else like
but
TV and movies and everything else?
I don't know.
Games sucks. This is how we talk about this all the time. This is how we shoot ourselves in the foot as an industry with licensing and these things that are just so ungame friendly. Like, please let us put your Ferrari in our game. And then we'll patch it out in 3 years when nobody gives a shit about the game. But, like, that's not the game anymore because you could have had this Ferrari. Yeah. And that's why we tend to buy certain physical copies on certain consoles that we do or certain generations that we do. I still feel like I have the definitive Vice City and San Andreas because they're pressed to disc. I can't boot that game and they take the music off my Vice City. It's going to be on there. I'm going to hop on that bike. It's going to play Billie Jean. No matter whether they lose a license to Michael Jackson's music or not, it's gonna play Billie Jean as soon as he jumps on that bike. Oh man, our industry is backwards sometimes. Okay, hopefully people get to play more Metal Gear games. Apparently it's Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, right? Are there any others affected? It looks like 2
I don't know because
there it is. Yeah.
I was about to say
the full list of games that have been temporarily removed from sale and are presumably the ones being referred to in Konami's new tweet are as follows. Let's alternate. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty HD Edition PS3.
I have
Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater HD Edition PS3. All right, Metal Gear Solid HD Edition PS3. Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty for Vita. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater for Vita. Metal Gear Solid HD Collection for Vita and PlayStation Now. Metal Gear Solid HD Collection 2 and 3 for 360, which was a backwards compatible disc, I think, which ran really well on the Xbox One consoles and also very well on the Series consoles. Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater 3D, the aforementioned 3DS title. Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance on GOG. And Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD for NVIDIA Shield / Nintendo Switch. Bring those games to Switch. I'm not a Switch beggar, but that's a whole new audience for Metal Gear Solid. That would be cool. These are zeitgeist titles.
Hey, if they could run on the Vita, they can run on the
NVIDIA
Switch.
Shield is the Switch, remember? That's the same chipset and all that. That's system on a chip. I have the Bayonetta story next, but I think that's the wrong link. Is that what you have?
No, I've got the PlayStation blog. PlayStation Extras and Premium tier games that just got added as of recording this yesterday, which we got a bunch of titles.
This is a good update. We've been talking about the past couple weeks what they're going to elaborate on, so this was a good confirmation of that.
And we got some big titles. The first, of course, is the day and date release of Stray, the cat simulator game, which actually looks pretty fun, which you can claim now, as well as Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade. Then we have Marvel's Avengers. That's available also today. And then we have a huge list. This is with PlayStation, their collaboration with Ubisoft. There's a bunch of Assassin's Creed games, Assassin's Creed Unity, Black Flag, Rogue Remastered, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, the Ezio Collection.
It's basically all the Assassin's Creeds, right, that were missing from it?
Basically.
Because Ezio Collection gives you a bunch of them.
Yeah. Then we have some of the Saints Row games. Saints Row 4, Re-Elected, Gat Out of Hell, and then they just added Spirit of the North as well.
You were playing that not too long ago, right? Okay.
Yeah. Ice Age, Scrat's Nutty Adventure, Jumanji, the video game, Paw Patrol on a Roll, Ready, Set, Heroes, and then we get to the very sad
This is
edition
the part that sucks.
of the premium tier. These are the literally you are paying a premium for these classic titles, and they added first it was just going to be 2 PSP games, and they slid another PSP game in there. Those games are Echo Shift, No Heroes Allowed, and Loco Roco Midnight Carnival.
Weak.
And then it was if what got leaked afterward or mistweeted or whatever to the Italian page was what we got, I actually would have been happy, because if you saw those, they got, what was it, Loco Roco, No Heroes Allowed.
I didn't see this, by the way.
It was the PSP
God of Wars.
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur Sword of Destiny or something like that?
Yes. Blades of something like that.
With Kratos?
Ridge Racer 4 for PSP. And they also had Dino Crisis on there. And then that got quickly removed, and up went the actual No Heroes Allowed, Loco Roco Midnight, and eventually Echo Shift. So it's like, no, give us the other games. Give us all those games. They have a huge catalog that they could pull from.
Give us something. Why are you giving us these scraps?
3 PSP titles, yes. And they're, I guess, Loco Roco Midnight Carnival
stop rant.
Is technically
this is like
a decent
This is like Wii
game,
Virtual Console year 2 or 3, whatever it was, when they fell off the wagon.
Yeah, those extra titles and everything else we got, and especially getting Stray day and date is nice.
Yes.
But yeah, those classic titles, Sony, you could do better.
And I'll probably be upgrading my tier to play Stray. I really want to play Stray. I know you guys are going to be doing it, so probably hit that up. We might end up talking about that next week, because it's only like 5 to 7 hours or something like that. It's not a very lengthy game. You're already getting it with your upgraded tier, so. And there's a physical copy for $39.99, I believe, on some of the various retailers. So it is getting a physical copy too.
I'm gonna have to track it down.
It seems like one to own. Is that it for your PlayStation Plus?
Yes.
Not essentials. Game catalog update for premium and extra. Do you get Stray with the extra
those
tier?
naming conventions.
I think so. I think so.
Know. You might. So you might only have to go up one tier.
I'll look at the price difference. It's probably negligible. And last but not least, I believe, if I pulled up my tabs right, we have your Xbox Game Pass titles. You get the highly rated, as of recent, As Dusk Falls on July 19th. Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion. Watch Dogs Dose. That's coming on cloud, console, and PC. MotoGP 22. Torment Tides of a Numenera. It's a BioWare game, isn't it? The top-down isometric RPG. Inside. Indie Darling Inside on cloud, console, and PC. You're getting DLC updates for Age of Empires 4, Astroneer, Minecraft, and Forza Horizon 5, which is the Hot Wheels DLC. Your ultimate perks are in Minecraft, Fall Guys, and Century Age of Ashes. Those will warrant you the Dwellers Bundle, the Coconut Milk costume, and the Crod Slaglands Dragon Bundle, respectively. There's a whole bunch of games added to touch controls, I don't think any of those I would want to play with touch controls, including the Yakuza
Yeah,
games.
of course you want to play. Yeah, you want to play
You want to play
Yakuza
a
games
brawler
with the damn
with
touch controls.
I play with touch controls. Leaving Game Pass, of course, the downside of the additions to Game Pass. On July 31st, Dodgeball Academia, Katamari Damacy Reroll, Lumines Remastered, awesome game, and Katamari Damacy Reroll. Omno, which was a friend of the show, Jeremy, one of his favorite titles on Game Pass. And Raji, an ancient epic, which I have been meaning to play and may need to get that in before July 31st. Because I think there's now like a Raji Ancient Collector's Edition or something like that, like a finished product of that on all platforms. Is that it for news? I didn't miss any tabs?
That is
Nintendo
it,
movies,
sir.
Kirby,
Let's
PlayStation Star, Sega Genesis Mini, Bayonetta 3.
get through our games played here.
Stupid. Your title wins. We don't have to discuss it. Like robbing rodent works. The game we deserve. The bootleg Sly Cooper that it was. I have played very little. I was on a vacation the past week and a half, so my game time has been slim to none. I've gotten the usual Halo rounds in. Brant, we're still missing you on Saturdays. You need to come back to us on Saturdays. I enjoy our Mondays, but Saturday nights is just so much fun. And like I said, I guess the last show, Big Team Battle has improved. It's not the nuisance it was, but I have to backtrack again. We got a lot of capture the flags in a row, and it would just be so nice to turn when you have a group. It's almost like, okay, here's 7 people that I'm going to be throwing onto your server. Let us pick. We're bringing 7 people into a game. Let us pick what game type we want. We don't want capture the flag. You're going to have the majority.
Capture the flag is okay when it comes up intermittently. But when you go back to back to back to back, capture the flags, and then when it's big team battle, you go for long stretches of everybody.
Those are never over fast
because you can't. Yeah, you can't get.
They're never over fast. And we had, I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like they had spaced them out a little bit better. And we blame friend of the show Renee, because he hates capture the flag. It's like, thanks Renee for giving us capture the flag. You had to join us and bring us capture the flag. But it would be so nice. I don't hate any of the zones, and I don't really love any of the modes. I don't really hate or love any of the modes any more than the other. I just want to be able to mix it up. And we're running a party. Yeah. Let me ask the 7 or 8.
Variety.
Yeah, let me ask the 7 or 8.
Spice of life.
Or put a mode like do not repeat modes. Or a tab, a slider. It's again back to game design. Just put this in there. I know it's not that easy, but just something that keeps us from repeating. Like, you have people groaning when they see the map load. It's like, oh god, another capture the flag. We just fought for 15 minutes trying to get this back and forth, and it never worked. It's like we're the same group going back in it again. We don't give us zones or just something to break it up. Or Slayer. Slayer is so fast, even on Big Team Battle. Just give us kills. Just let us cleanse ourselves of trying to play this objective thing, and just it's my squad versus this other squad of 9, and then we'll go from there. And I know it's like 16 or something on Big Team Battle, isn't it? But there hasn't seemed to be any improvements on that front at all. In a series known for customization and custom levels and Forge, and we were talking about on vacation playing the last LAN party that we had. Friend of the show Russell put us on lockdown on Needlers, and we literally brought all the Xboxes to their knees with all the needles flying through the air, and it was so much fun and so randomly funny, just the crazy shit that we could pull off and do with that. And it would be fun to have a little bit more customization with that. I get it's a free-to-play game. Some people have paid for it. You bought a disc. I have spent $20 so far in the season passes, the 2 $10 season passes. And I'm not complaining on that front. I have 100%, 100,000% gotten my $20 worth of value out of that game. I still love it. It's still one of my favorites. But, man, just a little bit for us that are playing regularly to outside of cosmetics. We just want to play Halo. I don't care what your person looks like or, what skin you have on. That's just, we see it in the loading screen and we joke back and forth, but that's 10 seconds and then we spend 15 minutes playing. Give us the depth in the meat and bones. And maybe that's looks poorly on our old school taste. Maybe they look at Fall Guys and Fortnite and these other things and they have the metrics and they figure out where the money's made, and it's not in the selecting mode, and it's not stopping us from playing. We complain every week. Yeah. We praise it every week. We complain every week, and then we come back the next week and we do the same type thing. So, did I play anything else? We played some Mario Kart 7 on the car ride down, and that seems to be our new car tradition is to play some Mario Kart 7. Kids love it. Did anything else get played? Oh, I played through both of the Klonoa demos. My PS5 copy was waiting on me when I got home, but I went all the way through the Klonoa Door to Phantomile and the Klonoa 2 Lunatia's Veil. Is that how it's pronounced? Lunatia's Veil,
something like that.
So I was actually surprised. The first game is awesome, and I finally got the hang of. I think when I talked about it before, I didn't get the jumping and throwing, and I still get kind of lost on like where Klonoa is looking to throw your object or whatever. But I started to get the hang of it, and just double jumping with the item. That's basically what you need to do every time is double jump, unless there's a specific like egg or something that you're trying to shoot at and hit. So the screenshots and the imagery that I had seen of Klonoa 2 before playing the demo was that it was like a 3D version of Klonoa. They took that original Klonoa and they made like a PS2 version, a sequel leveraging the power of the PlayStation 2. Have you never played the second one? Okay, no. You're going to be in for a surprise because that demo is the demo version on whatever console you want to play. It has like the first world of both, or like the first, 20, 30 minutes. Klonoa 2 is a PS2 Klonoa. It is leveraging the power of the PS2 for that 2D, 3D style, and I wasn't ready for it. It was a pleasant surprise. I was like, man, they made a PS2 Klonoa. Like this holds up really well, and they've made some changes from the Wii version. This is not the Wii version of Door to Phantomile. And it much closer resembles, like, you had the PS1 game, you had the PS2 game. The Wii version brought it close. This is like, it's right there where they seem like it's a really a good collection. What is the Fantasy Reverie collection or something like that? Yeah. And it's just, this is a great collection of games. I almost bought it on Switch, but I knew I had that PS5 version here when I got home. And I've installed it. I've updated it. There is an update. I'm not sure what it entails, but I plan to touch on that a little bit more next week. But both of those demos, the Switch demo I know is on there, and it plays well on Switch. I see some hiccups here and there, but that also could have been me thinking in the back of my mind, you got the PS5 4K 61 waiting on you at home. So it was, but it looked really, really good on that OLED, that art style. It's one of those I may pick up on sale on Switch because I still do want to support it. And that'll be a good digital game to always have on hand, that sort of gameplay. But I was impressed with both of those. I went into Klonoa 2 completely blind, and I was extremely, extremely impressed and excited to play that. It is a legit next generation Klonoa. I was very surprised. But did I touch on anything else? I didn't play any GTA 5. Cesar and Russell, with the whole majority of the vacation, they were talking about Gears of War 2 and River. So here we go. We get back Saturday before everybody gets on Halo. They queue up River. So here we are playing Horde mode on River like it's 2008 or whenever that game came out. And of course on Series X, it runs flawlessly and looks great. And you load into the same 360 menus and all that kind of stuff. And we got to 10. We cleared level 10 with the, you have to hoard the shields from level 8 and level 9 so that you can have them against the blood mounts, because the blood mounts will just come after your ass on 10. And we managed to carry the shields over. And then we did it for 18 and 19, and then people were starting to get online for Halo. and it was like, oh, we're gonna try to finish this. We're gonna try to finish this, and then we lost the first attempt at 20. Well, we had a good start, and then the sire, the guys with like the long hair that run really fast, that kick over the shields, they punched a hole in the shields, and a boom shots over and hit Cesar and I up on the stairs in one of the cabins in River, and that was it. It was a done deal after that. They poked a hole in our defenses, and we couldn't recover from there. And it was like, man, we don't have these shields. The blood mounts are going to just come in here and wreak havoc. Let's just switch over to Halo. So that's still one of the top tier multiplayer experiences out there, and it is so amazing. There's an achievement called Party Like It's 1999, and it's for playing 1,999 rounds of Horde or multiplayer, but I've only ever really played Horde in Gears of War 2. And I'm at 1850 now, or 1860. So I've been chipping away thanks to their backwards compatibility stuff. I've queued that game up regularly, semi-regularly over the past 5 to 10 years when it normally would have not been available anymore. So I'm chipping away at that Party Like It's 1999. I think that's before the end of the year. That might be one of my goals, is to knock that out. And it's so much fun. That gameplay still holds up. I feel like I got a couple cheap deaths, like with the camera. I would be controlling. It's third person, so you don't see anything behind you. And I've got you see more than first person, but your radius is still not like amazing. And I would get somebody behind me that would melee me and then hit me with a shotgun, and then I'm down. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I didn't even know you were there, but that's cool. And it still holds up, man. Gears of War 2 River is the experience. So I did play a little bit more than I thought I did. So I'll turn it over to you, young Brant. Bring us home. We're skipping Cesar's round.
So I continued my Crash Bandicoot.
Yes, I watched part of that
bullshit.
Stream. I caught it kind of late, but I was watching some of it.
And streamed Crash Bandicoot Warped all the way through. That one took me not even 3 hours. It was
That's
like
a shorter
just
game,
under
huh?
3 hours to beat that.
It's shorter, or you're
I
just
still
better
love
at
those
that
games. I don't know. I guess just playing everything back to back, I just kept getting better and better. But I know as a younger lad, I would continuously do nothing sometimes on the weekends, but just go through and replay those games
Don't you miss
over
those
and over
weekends?
and over. So, yes, not really having much else to do, and just being able to sit back and play a video game
I would kill
almost
for
all
one
day.
of those. I would kill. I'm not. It's not like murder somebody. No, it would be awesome to just kick back like that.
Yeah. And then you had texted me about this. We had gotten
something
this
I
crazy
instigated?
idea where we were looking into the family plan for Nintendo Switch Online.
Don't put my name in your mouth. This is
And-
Cesar's doing. Cesar screwed us.
And like we had all looked at it and thought about it, and I guess on your trip Cesar had just jumped, and you sent me a
Started
text
adding
saying,
people.
"Hey man, go ahead, let's do it. Yeah, come on."
So we
You
didn't
gotta
hear
join
anything
us.
for a day, and then I was like,
just-
Brant, you doing this? And then I get back. We're driving back, and I read it out loud. I was like, all right, Brant sent me a message. It says, fuck it, I'm in.
I had to think about it, and I was like, "Man, I don't know. I really don't know."
$10.
And then you sent me that list of like the few people you've already got joined in. I'm like, "Yep, just
Sure.
fuck it, add
Fuck
me.
it, I'm
Go
in.
ahead.
$10.
What's there to lose?"
So would you take advantage of? Because I haven't even. I think I've downloaded the 2 expansion, the Genesis thing, and the. I need to get the Mario Kart tracks.
Oh, I didn't
You
even
didn't do the Genesis
I didn't even
ones?
do that. I didn't even download the
Yeah.
Mario stuff or
You did
or
N64
download the Genesis.
exclusively. See, to
I
Cesar, that was a
immediately
Genesis
just jumped
expansion.
to
To you, it's a
N64.
exclusive N64 expansion.
I just
Yeah.
completely forgot about it. My Genesis expansion is coming in
True.
October.
Oh, I'm
From
glad you were
Amazon
able to get
Japan.
in on one as well. We both did too.
but I immediately booted up like Pokemon Snap 64 just to see. It's actually
holds
pretty
up?
responsive. I played in handheld mode with all of these. Um, the controls, I mean, it was just a little awkward at first, just getting used to the feel of everything where everything is. But it's not bad. Um, and then I really started to get into that Kirby 64.
I heard you playing some of this the other night.
What is it, like that Crystal Shards or something like that? And that actually, it feels and plays a lot like Klonoa. I had talked to you about it earlier this week. And it's pretty fun.
You and I were mentioning
it's a good
that.
game.
So that's Sony's version of that, and that's Nintendo's version of that. This would have been a good blueprint for a Sega game, that 2D, 3D. And they could never figure out. They had some weird pseudo 3D. They had
that weird Sonic.
They had the fisheye version, they just never quite. And they didn't have to do the full blown. Everybody points to that little hub world of Sonic Jam, which was cool, but it was empty. Yeah. So the movement and all that felt well, but there was no game in there. A 2D, 3D title of that type would have really, and the damn Saturn would have pushed the hell out of something like that. It would have been incredible in the background. And with the, basic polygon Sonic or something in the foreground, but you're digging. I do not have any experience with Kirby 64, I don't believe. Yeah?
It's good. It's a good game. I actually... Give me 2 seconds. I'll grab this right here. It's in arm reach. This came in the mail today.
Oh, what's he got?
Will it
Will it want it?
It doesn't want to with
it's a camera
mode. Okay.
I think.
There we go. This is a universal adapter for the N64 by Hyperkin.
Interesting.
I've got Animal Forest coming for the N64. I was looking at one of those. What did we were talking about those train simulation games. I was looking at one of those.
Are they inexpensive? Because I'll loan you
there
mine.
It is. Densha de Go for the N64 ranges around the like $20 range, so it's really not that expensive.
I did not pay that much for mine, but I got a lot probably 10 years ago that had all this crap in it. Is that this one?
Yeah.
Damn, this blurred background's killing me. This one was $20 by itself?
Yeah, I'm seeing it anywhere between like 17 to like 25, 26.
Did you know how to region mod your 64 by itself? Without the adapter?
No.
So
no, I had not.
There are, and I don't have one in here to compare, but there are grooves on the back of the cartridge. You see how wide that one is? It's just like the Super Nintendo. They're different on the 64. So if you wanted to, I mean, you're harming your console. But I did it with the one that I have hooked up. You just take needle nose pliers and you wiggle out that thing at the bottom. Or grab a Game Shark and the Game Shark will pass it through. But I like that clean Hyperkin thing. You'll have to let us know how it works. How much was it out of curiosity?
It was like $25 or something like that.
You're not tearing up your machine.
Honestly, you can't pick up one of those Game Sharks for that anymore. I haven't looked in a minute, but I know the last time they were like 27 or $29 or something like that. 30.
I haven't paid attention to,
but I know there's
Nintendo 64 stuff. I bought that flash cart maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I just kind of tuned out immediately from there. It's like, okay, I have access to this library. I'm not really, and I have a bunch of the physical copy games I want to get, and I've got. It seemed like the Game Shark was akin to the Super Game Boy player. Like whenever you bought some lot of games, you got a Super Game Boy player. Or when you bought a lot of 64 games, it seemed like you got a Game Shark. Like I ended up with 2 or 3 different Game Sharks. You know, they were kind of hardware locked where they only had certain codes that they had access to, but they were still good bypass devices. So,
but I know there's other things, just like Bomberman 64. It plays the exact same as the Japanese and the English version. The only difference is
much cheaper
price. You can buy that Japanese version of Bomberman 64. I'm looking at it. This listing has it for $12.99 free shipping. Where the English version is a hell of a lot.
Has 64 gotten that crazy?
With COVID, people stayed home, so a lot of people got.
I should have held on to some stuff. I had a sealed copy of Smash Brothers for 64.
Oh, no.
I got a decent amount for it, but I'm sure it's not what it would be now. But I had to sell it at that time, so it's just one of those things. Along with my copy of Burning Rangers. It's fine. I still have access to those games.
I'm trying to find... Well, I don't know. This is a authentic version of... It's a little beat up. It's an authentic version of Bomberman 64. They're selling it like $28, so maybe it's not that bad, but still, 30. Yeah, $30 or more than $30 compared to 12, 13 is.
How good is Bomberman 64?
I remember playing it at our mutual friends' home. Where I was friends with his younger brother. Yep. You were friends with the older brother.
Is that
I remember playing it over there for the first time and being
blown away,
being hooked. But there's other stuff. I know there's like that Rumble version of Super Mario 64. Yep. Ocarina of Time. And plus the art on some of those cartridges.
I feel like I tried to talk you into this before you on the podcast. I feel like we had this conversation years ago. Like, get Mario Kart 64. It's so cheap.
Yeah, you
were like, I'd rather have there's Smash Brothers. This is
because I know I came over one of the times and you were showing me all these import carts. Yep, there you go. Yeah, you got to put it like on your body.
Star Fox
to not blend into the background.
I've got the Mario parties. I'm not sure how friendly they are.
I don't know. I would think if you already know how to play them, you might be able to,
hey, Brant,
to get it.
Guess what?
What?
I just saved you.
Oh,
I got you, fam.
Look at that.
If we didn't have this conversation, I never would have known. So one of these Bombermans is yours.
But yeah, I'd come over one time and you were showing me all those, and I did like.
Look at that artwork. Banjo-Kazooie 64.
Banjo-Kazooie.
All you got to know with these is like which things to unlock, right? Like Mario 64, it's like, okay, this is the 6 or the 5 red coin one. This is the one where you throw...
I was about to say, everybody's played it so many times.
This is one where you throw King Babam over the edge. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the highly successful follow-up to Yoshi's Island for Super Nintendo. All right, this is actually kind of I know this is not great for the audio podcast, but I'm done showing off N64 import games.
I'm trying to say them out loud, and for anybody that doesn't know, you'll have to look up. I can barely make that out.
This is the Masters, so that's the Masters logo, which takes place in Georgia. This was the first licensed game for the Masters. It was on N64, and it did not come out here. So the first time we got the Masters in a video game,
that's weird,
was like Tiger Woods 2013 or something like that. There was an odd year where they called it Tiger Woods the Masters, and that was the first time we got it in a game. And it was this was an N64 game exclusively in Japan. Made by T&E Soft.
But I mean, that's the thing is look up all the different like artworks between the boxes and the cartridges on these different releases, and even things from game to game, some stuff got changed.
Toad has a different name on
Like
64 and a different sound.
Yeah, I was watching something actually before the podcast about just Mario Kart games for the Super Nintendo and the 64, and how they basically overhauled Super Mario Kart, redoing all the voice acting and things like that when it came here. You know, they like made Yoshi a little chunkier, and
Americans don't like skinny dinosaurs.
actually in the I haven't seen it. I've got the Japanese version of Super Mario Kart I need to see, but there's a version of
I might have
when you win, the player one is standing up on the podium with a thing of champagne, but they freaking chug it in the Japanese version. So like you have Bowser up there and he's like spraying it all over his face. They showed Princess Peach up there. She's got both hands and she's knocking it back. And
princess!
When she comes down, her face is all red, and so I'm like,
man.
damn. So there's some legitimate differences with some of these games. Now it's pretty much all comes down to like language differences. They may change a few things here or there.
There's an interesting. We could have a whole podcast on interesting localization choices in like the early to mid '90s. From specifically, we could only focus on Nintendo. It was across the board with so many different companies, but Nintendo was so afraid of any sort of questionable imagery. Like we got Wolfenstein, you shot rats instead of dogs, and it just. The list goes on and on and on. There's all sorts of changes like that.
You have to take. It's weird because you have to take like religious imagery out of games, or for a really long time you couldn't have the Red Cross in there because of the Red Cross organization.
No churches. I think Dragon Warrior for churches they weren't. They were called something else. They weren't actually churches or cathedrals.
But then famously the one guy that had the job of localizing and translating Chrono Trigger, because I
just heard a podcast about
I've
this
been
guy.
on this whole kick.
Is it Ted
of
Woolsey?
Localization?
Something Woolsey? Woosley?
I
He did
can't
the
remember
Spoonie
his name,
Bard and Final
but
Fantasy
he
IV
added,
and all that stuff.
Yeah, he did a good job of translating and adding different cultural references and stuff, but then added a lot of like religious imagery to the game as well, which is interesting. But it's weird because a lot of people add comparisons and things apparently to Chrono Trigger, how it mirrors certain religious things, and it's just and it's odd that they take it out of certain games, but then they leave it in other games.
And then Xenogears is just
Earthbound.
straight up about destroying God. The second disc is like this philosophical.
Xenogears is like 100% anti-religion. Earthbound. I mean, they changed so much in Earthbound, but it's my gosh. Like you said, we could have a whole.
That's a whole nother show.
Different
that's not an
localization
episode.
things.
That's a show.
Yeah.
That would go on forever.
But shoot, I guess let's finish it up so we can get out of here. I ended by doing another stream this week by starting another of the games that justified my purchase of PlayStation Premium tier, which was Demon's Souls. Some of that.
What do you think of Demon's? Or did you go in blind? Is this your first experience with Demon's Souls?
Yeah, this is my first Souls game ever. I mean, the closest I guess I've gotten to a Souls-like is Jedi Fallen Order. I guess from as far as like gameplay wise, I've never played a Souls type game. I think I've even got, because that was also in the collection. You can get a Bloodborne in that PlayStation collection tier that came with your subscription or just by having a PS5. But yeah, I went ahead and I was like, screw it. I downloaded it. I get it with the subscription. Let's try it out. I didn't hate it. I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. And then eventually you get to that point where you walk into this huge room and a big ass monster just comes and I tried to dodge and I dodge and immediately get up and there's definitely a lot of cheap hits and things in there. I noticed enemies will come at you, and a lot of times if you're too close to a wall, if you're impeded by something that you can't break, your sword might hit it and impede you from hitting them. But the enemies just go
the geometry
right
doesn't
through
affect them at all.
No. And they do try to do a lot of a hinky or just cheap things. Like they'll have enemies hiding around corners that'll immediately jump at you and attack you, or you'll be walking up a small staircase, and there might be people above you with freaking fire bombs that can throw down at you that you don't even see.
You just have to die and learn that they're there or something?
See, I only died twice, and I played this game
so
for probably a little over
I watched
an
you
hour.
die, and then you went to whatever, like somebody was telling you it was the Nexus, and you were like a wireframe character or something. You weren't like fleshed out. Mm-hmm. Did you ever get to the point where you got that back or whatever?
No, I was always in that like soul form, but I did go back. I was trying to figure out, because like I said, I don't really know much about it. I have to do a little bit of research and figure out, some strats and figure out what I'm supposed to do. And the area I went to, I was actually doing pretty damn well. And the bad thing is like once you die, you like half your health bar is then like cut off. So you start out with a pretty decent health bar, and then once you die,
why do they
it's
do
like
that? Why do they hinder you?
And you can see, I don't know. I guess it's a mechanic.
It's in the game.
It's a get good mechanic.
Learn to get better.
So, yeah, I wandered around, and I eventually got to a couple different points. And there was one point where I started to walk across this bridge, and I saw like this army of enemies, and I saw, because just like in these other games, you can leave messages on the ground.
I went and read
this
monsters ahead,
and it said, yeah, this one said it's safe here. I'm like, what the fuck does it mean by that? And then all of a sudden, this freaking dragon comes and flies over, and starts just laying down fire on the bridge. And he flies over, and then he loops back and sits on the other side of the bridge for a second, and then breathes fire again. I'm like, oh, okay.
So you were safe there.
And so I watched him do that a couple of times, and then noticed he's not stopping. That's all he does. I'm like, okay, so I can't progress.
So do you have to?
This
you can't time it a certain way. Like there's no way to get past it.
Maybe if I ran as fast as I could. There's still some enemies on the opposite side that he just didn't take out.
I saw those big ass. I saw 2 big ass dragons when I was watching.
Yeah. Then I cut back and went this other direction off to the left of that bridge, and that's when I came out, and there's 2 giant ass dragons, and like the first thing I come to, the first hint said something about this is not an area for beginners.
Where do you go then?
I'm like, oh, okay. So I walk down and I start looking at stuff, start gathering. There's a few things on the ground to pick up. And then there's another thing. It's like, oh, this area is fine for beginners. And if you get too close to that dragon, he starts breathing fire at you. And thankfully, it's like an elevated ledge. So he's on a higher portion of the ledge, and I'm on a lower portion that I could kind of walk around. But it dead ends. So I'm like, okay, obviously I can't be here. So it's one of those things where, like I said, I'm probably going to have to look into it and see if there's different areas I can go to, which is the best area to kind of get my bearings back and kind of get the get a feel of the game completely. But honestly, I didn't hate it. I didn't.
Heard it here first. Demon Souls, didn't hate it.
I was, a little overly cautious, but I mean, in the end, that helped me because there were lots of times anytime I walked into a new room, put the shield up and like walk in really slow, and then here comes an enemy off from the side on my blind spot. I just jump right back, lure him out, or
a good bit of kiting. I saw you do a good bit of kiting like that, where you're kind of drawing them backwards.
There was another time where I went around this area and there's like four of these enemies like running toward me, so I just let them back down a hallway and just started going up the stairs, and one by one they will like kind of get stuck at the bottom of the stairs, and then one would come up. I'd just defeat him, go down a little bit, bait the other one to come up, beat him. So just kept doing that. So those you just have to play strategically, or otherwise, because if you just start like rushing into things, you're gonna die. And you have to watch how you dodge stuff too.
You got a stamina meter, I saw.
If you go, because anytime you do a jump back or these attacks or roll, it uses your stamina. And if you're on a catwalk or something and you roll, you can fall off of that. There's no like invisible barrier. If you're fighting somebody, it's it can be brutal.
Look good.
And after
nice,
it looks great because this is of course
the Blue Point remake,
updated Blue Point. Yeah. So I'll probably, like I said, I'll do some digging into that before I jump back in, but I wouldn't mind jumping back in and actually
do it too.
Playing it a good bit more.
Would you consider playing the original Demon Souls, since they're both on that PlayStation service? Take a look at the PS3 one. Yeah.
Possibly.
Do you think that streaming would work with the timing?
I was about to say, streaming wise, it's probably not the best choice, because there definitely is a little bit of input lag with that streaming. Which one? What did you play? Dark Souls?
Yes, and the first skeleton thing killed me, and I was like, that was like a tech test, and I was like, I'm not playing this game. It's stupid. I've never played Demon Souls. My copy's sealed somehow. I just never popped it in. Somebody told me it was good, and I found it years and years ago at a Walmart, and I picked it up before Dark Souls and all that other stuff, and I never had a chance to pop it in.
Hey, upgrade.
Yeah, I'm getting it for free. Upgrading. I think another month has rolled past. I think that's an even cheaper upgrade now for me. Is that all? I did want to touch on something since you jogged my memory with the cloud thing. We tried to play a couple rounds on vacation on the xCloud streaming on iOS for all three of us. Master Chief Collection was borderline unplayable. It was a nightmare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, depending on your connection, unless I was like on like extremely good Wi-Fi, it was okay. It is still not the best way to play that. And if you're on cell service,
we were on Wi-Fi. Russell and I were on phone and controller. Cesar was on a Steam Deck doing the streaming. He said his performance was fine. Russell and I was like, this is not going well. So then we tried around at Infinite, and it was land grab. It was an objective-based game. I went 0-8-3 or something like that. I never got a kill, and I was like, "This is just not. It's not. This is not the Halo I know and love." So it's got some strides to. It still has some growing pains as far as that goes. It's not perfect. Those are our games. It's Demon Souls, Halo Infinite, Crash Bandicoot 3, Klonoa demo, Kirby 64.
Games, yeah.
It would be fun. You mentioned doing a Mario Kart 64 online thing would be a fun stream.
We need to do that.
Even if we're just talking over it, I can just get our voice capture in, because I didn't realize this. I've got us in the background of the stream on top of this overlay. We can be talking behind a video stream that's just full capture, so there's all kind of possibilities. Yep. We've got to tinker with some stuff. But hopefully Cesar will be back with us next week. We wish him well in his pursuit of healthiness. And so we hope he can contribute again next week. Thank you for joining us this week, and we will catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
Adios.
Adios.